Right guys, for those of us of a certain age, me being one of them, if you'd like to dig out your Buster or your Valiant comics, you will be able to join the Airfix Modelers Club from there. I was actually, didn't last very long, but in the very late 70s, early 80s, I was actually a Warlord military comic fan. And of course Commando comics as well. So yeah. Don't know if Airfix or anything to do with that address now, but it would be interesting to send off membership and see what comes back. Right, bases, just because they're at the top of this pile. Come on Gav, get them out. Here are our bases. Obviously it doesn't really matter about the sink marks because they could be turned over, and by the time you put some stuff on top of them, you know, you'd be fine. But they're the bases, and that's in the same type of plastic as you get from their Napoleonic sets. I'd imagine more or less the plastic of the time really. We've got some large packs and small packs. I think it's the pack. The large pack is the large. It's called the large pack. I take it the small pack is called the small pack, but it should be a large pack, I believe. We've got our berries. Officer's hat. You have to put the peak on yourself. Side caps. Canteens in their felt covers. Ammo pouches. Now there's some tiny sink marks on those right in the centre, so they'll need a bit of considering. And that's those. And we've got the lower torsos, upper torsos and heads. Now what I was thinking when I saw these, got some nice mould. Again, everything has a mould. If it's in a mould, it has a mould line. And you know, these are no different, but I can't see them being massively hard to remove. I don't think you'd lose that much detail if you use a sharp knife rather than a sander as such, I think. Bipods for the Bren gun, should you need those. Torsos. Look, a couple of different ones on there. Upper torsos, I should say. The webbing straps for the pouches that you'll be sticking on there are fairly well defined. You know, they're not too soft. And where they have the upper shoulder bits there, you could always again get your knife and just slightly dig underneath there. Not that they were massively proud anyway, but just you could do that if you wanted to, I'm thinking. Here's our heads. Let me just see if I'm, so I'm doing this at an angle. Don't know if it looks like you get two poses of heads. And I think that's good enough. Let's just move back, Gav, come on. So we've got a couple of poses of heads by the look of it. Looking at the side of the camera, they don't look too bad, to be fair. I mean, they don't look too soft. No, I think you'd be alright with those. Again, you can't get these as far as I know. I don't think they've been... the box I was looking at with the Japanese soldiers in, the one box seemed a later, you know, like a 1980s maybe, I'm guessing, box. Weapons, I thought these Brens were very nice. Those are the right, in fact they're all, you know, I suppose it's a scale as well, it's 132 rather than 135, so it is slightly bigger. You'd struggle mixing these in, I would think, with obviously 135 figures. Here's those helmets again. some netted, some without. Thompsons look quite nice. I mean, I might do them all, but I'll probably end up just doing one to see what they're like first, and see if I get the idea to do any more. Right, we've got a couple more poses here with the more, I suppose, attacking poses in one sense. Hands look fairly well defined. I mean, the shorts, I thought I'd probably chobble away a bit underneath, just to make a bit more of a gap on some of them, so they're not like a solid. I mean, obviously you can just paint them black, or I wouldn't suggest jet black, flat black or something. Like a very dark NATO black is a nice faded one, or some type of black brown, a bit of brown, dark brown paint with a bit of black in it, mix it in. Boots are nice as well. On the whole, as I say, you often see them with shorts, and the Brits in there. I mean, the Africa Corps as well wore shorts as well a lot of time, the Luftwaffe in their bases. Obviously, nights in the desert get blooming cold. But these more or less come from those old Pathé news films that you used to get sent out as propaganda type thing. I mean, some of the photographs you see, and they are more or less in half the poses you see now, but you can see they've been posed by an already knocked out German tank, and the blokes are running past, But yeah, I'm quite impressed with that, really. I mean, not for the age, I think the moulds are really nice. Hold that there so you can get something to look at. For the age, that the moulds are really nice. In fact, I would say maybe even slightly less smooth than the Napoleonic figures, which I believe is one in 32 54mm. I can't remember now. I should know the amount of figures I paint. I can't think. But yeah, I think these will come up well. It'll be interesting to give them almost like the artwork there, more of a reddy skin tone than a pale one like I'm doing on the Lanschkenex. But I thought this might bring back some memories for all those old timers out there, even if this old timer couldn't actually remember them being around. I might probably did as a youngster, I just don't remember now, but I always remembered the 54mm figures, the different Napoleonic ones, the American Civil War, the Bengal Lancer, the American War, Revolutionary War, Independence, whatever you want to call it. I remember all those, and obviously the soft 1 in 32 figures. But when you put these against the soft plastic, which you can buy in abundance, either freshly ones that Airfix have remoulded, or there's loads where people are selling like the bottoms of toy boxes out, and there's a pile of different mixed soldiers. But I just think with those, again, the soft plastic, the work you've got to do to them is a lot more. Putting your PVA on them or something to get the paint to stick, and yeah, I don't really think they would be up my street type of thing. I don't mind converting these hard plastic figures, because you've got something to go out with the glue and putty and stuff. But yeah, hope that's brought back some memories for some of you out there, and anybody that's younger. I'm not saying these are around, that there's a ton of these around, because they're not. Obviously the Airfix don't make any of this stuff anymore. Some, people have said the moulds are, maybe some of the moulds were broken or missing, and that might be the case, but I just think if they're not, I'm surprised that Airfix wouldn't have brought back some type of figures in the ranges. As I say, these won't go alongside a 1 in 35 scale vehicle. You know, if you can't get your hands on probably a very expensive one of the few ones that Airfix did in this scale. They did do those soft plastic ones to go with their soft plastic figures. I do remember those, but I don't know if you could really, because they're soft plastic, how well you'd be able to convert it and clean it, spray it, you know, up to, you know, like a hard plastic kit, if you could even find any. Yeah, I've said this before. I'd love Airfix to bring their figures, and if they have genuinely, you know, the moulds are damaged, the moulds are missing, whatever. Obviously, they can't do anything about it. But there is a lot of love for these old figures, you know, and it would be nice if they could, when they do their retro vintage stuff, not just bring out the aircraft. And I know they are, you know, big sellers. But if there's nostalgia for those aircraft, and the motor torpedo boats and all that, there's nostalgia for figures, you know. But we'll see. I don't think they probably are missing or damaged or whatever. But if they're not, I still wouldn't hold my breath that they'll bother bringing any back in. So look after yourselves. What have we got coming up? What have we got coming up? We've shown you hopefully you would have seen the ferret armoured car for the reconnaissance group build video. I should really be showing you, I'll have one finished commission cavalry unit actually based and with all the grass on and everything. They will be ready for like a show and tell fairly quickly. What else? Is there anything else? The problem is I've been doing those mainly, and working bits on the ferret and that. So there will be an absolute glut of videos coming out at some point. But at the moment I'm having to bounce between stuff. The 1 in 24 scale hot rod I'm doing for Tom's appreciation build. Yes, I know I'm a year late, but that's only stalled, not through lack of interest, just I've had, you know, as I say, having to get this commission out of the way and stuff. I've got my new pup coming in a couple of weeks, and there'll probably be a slowdown on things over that while we're getting him used to obviously us and the house and all the things. So that might have a knock-on effect on what I do, especially on the evenings and that. We'll see. We'll see what happens, but obviously it won't have a knock-on effect on the commission. should my client, that sounds good, doesn't it? But, you know, should he be listening? It will be done. Yeah, what else? The goodness me, Gav, A46 Comet tank. That's going well. I've been weathering it, and the only weathering I've been using on it is acrylic paint. It's coming up really nice actually. I've really enjoyed that little project, but I've got to build a base for that. I'm hoping maybe getting a base started amongst everything else at some point soon. I'm hoping that the Tiger tank of the same scale in 15mm, that will have a winter wash on it, white wash on it over the weekend. But what I want to do first is get some varnish on some more of the commission figures and get the hot rod all primed, because that's all been cleaned up, bits, you know, all the bits being cleaned ready for primer, and it just hasn't been able to get a chance to have that. If I'm getting primer, I did a bit of glue damage on it, you see, so I want to see how that looks under primer, and I may well have to work on it again to try and smooth out as best I can. Yeah, that was a bit galling. And that's it really. There's some other bits coming up. As I say, I'm well and truly got the bit in my mouth to get on with my 1 in 48 kinetic starfighter, but I don't want to do that until the ferret's out of the way and until the car's out of the way, because you know, it's just too much of a mess. So and then I'll be running into time when the pup arrives, but still I should still have some time he says to make a start on that, and that's going to be, I've been really enjoying that. I'm going through my books again at the moment on that, and I'm really looking forward to it. So look after yourselves. Thanks for stopping by and taking a look. I hope this has been interesting for you. They do a what else do they do, Gav? I believe they do Northwest Europe, British. They do German. I don't know if they do early and late. I believe they do early. I'm wondering if they do Africa Core. I've not seen those though. They do Japanese, and they do Marines, I believe. But again, we're not talking like these are, there's stacks of these around. There's not. You've just got to either pay a decent price for them, or just like me, stumble on something that hasn't sold and somebody wants to sell. So yeah, but maybe take a look. I say 6 figures to go at. If you've never done figures before, they're a fairly decent size. That you're not going to, strain your eyes, strain your hands, or whatever doing them. I think they'd be nice, decent starter figures. The Airfix white plastic that I've used for the Napoleonics, it's glued really well. The only bit that, if you've never done figures before or much, is just making the bayonets, really. The bayonets, no, making the slings for the rifles. If you want to go down that road, which obviously they supply you with the plastic sheet. It's just working a way out to do it for yourself. Because I don't know if they supply you the Napoleonic figures. They actually supplied you with a little brass, sling bits that the sling goes through. But I haven't seen that on that, so I don't think they might not do that. But it wouldn't be hard to make out of yet a bit more cut up plastic, this plastic sheet. So yeah, maybe think of having a look at them. I'll say there's a few boxes, well, in the UK anyway, there's a few boxes always on eBay. You just might have to be going into the middle £20 plus delivery, unless somebody's selling them with free delivery. I picked these up. I honestly can't remember, it was a tenner, something like that. Yeah, anyway, look after yourselves. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll be rambling away, I'm sure, on another video. Cheers.